This is Life's a Pitch TV. Main sponsor, DPS Tech. Also supported by Lackens, all about hearing. Forward Floors, Ginger Pickle, Fred Olsen Logistics, The Dove, Seckford Golf Club, Ashford Wright, John Keeble Cars, Venue 16, The Hudson Group, Come Hither Design, Sound 4 Pro Audio, and Suffolk Sound. Our charities this year: Cancer Support Suffolk and the Ipswich Town Community Foundation. Welcome to our brand new edition of Life's a Pitch TV for the season ahead. Welcome, everybody. Fantastic. Let me introduce you to the team. It's Terry Butcher. It's Russell Osman. And completing our back three this season, our summer signing, Luke Chambers. Thank you for the sanitised version of that, everybody. Also back with us, Richard, John and Mark on technicals. Hey! Leslie Dolphins, our studio manager. Hey! And now that we're in the Premier League... We are Premier League, say we are Premier League. We are Premier League, say we are Premier League. We've increased our capacity crowds. Hey! It's doubled in size. Would you give a big round of applause and cheer? The Churchman Stand, sponsored by John Keeble Cars. Hey! And the North Stand, sponsored by Ashford Wright. Hey! Oh, I think Churchman's were giving the North Stand a bit of a run for their money there, actually. Yes, very good, very good. And our studio crowd tonight, you have actually physically got the hottest ticket in town. We are melting in here, but it's just so fantastic to have you here. We're here on YouTube, we're here on podcast, and also on Suffolk Sound as well. So back on the radio where Life's a Pitch began all those years ago. We've got a new set and some new features. More to come on that as the programme goes on. But let's say hi to the boys first of all. Evening, Butch. How's your pre-season been?
Long. It's been very long, but getting excited. Just with all this big crowd. Dave, the sausage roll man's here tonight.
I know.
He's seen the size of the crowd. He's going to have to start work on a Sunday, let alone a Monday or Tuesday. Wow, this was just brilliant. It's great to be back with everybody. Great to be back.
And we've got the Rocky Road as well, haven't we? We've got Rocky Road and sausage rolls tonight, which is fantastic.
We've got Rocky Road coming out of our ears here.
Yeah. Welcome back, Russ. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Mark. Hi, everybody. Great to be here back again.
Good pre-season?
Yeah, very nice. I'm looking forward to sampling the sponsors' beer this year.
Oh, yes, our new BT's Bar sponsors.
Yes.
And welcome, Luke Chambo joining us. So we now have a back three on Life's a Pitch TV. Who would play where?
Well, I've asked them that already, Mark, and they've both said the left side. So I think we've got a little bit of discussion. We'll have a few of those new beers like
I'll go in the middle.
Okay,
Terry?
there we go.
I'll go left, you go right.
Yep, done.
Oh, sorted then.
Yep.
Everyone loved me at right back, so it's brilliant. Oh, you can laugh about it now, can't you?
Were you laughing? Are you laughing?
I loved it.
I thought you were great. I thought you were great warming up that
great.
wing.
Let's get it right.
Back and forward. Fantastic. New shirts too, look. All About Hearing, my sponsor here.
Love it.
DPS Tech over there, Ginger Pickle, Forward Floors on the shirts. Yep, they've had to sit me behind the bar because my belly was a bit big. I've had a poor pre-season. So,
or a good one.
Looking around, there are one or two others who have been pretty lacklustre in their pre-season training as well. So, we've done away with the Keep You Uppy challenge. But instead, we've got the table footy challenge. So we have a football table in front of us, and each week our guests will take on two England defenders to see how many goals they can score against Terry and Russell in 60 seconds. We've also got Player of the Week, which is going to be difficult to choose this week. We've got a quiz question for you from Simon at Seckford, so we've got lots of new features. But what do you think about pre-season, Terry? our dealings and our departures?
Well, we've only got 6 players in, and spent 62.74 million.
Only,
yeah, which is extortionate for
it's
us.
a normal
most
summer,
ever.
really, isn't it? Normal summer. For
yeah.
Ipswich.
Same when you were playing,
What
wasn't
I
it?
knew, I saw a lot of that happening when I was there. So it's just normal service for everyone, really.
But I think the way it is, though, that as the end of the window is the end of the month, so agents are going to hang on as much as they can. The players are going to hang on as well, because you get, hopefully for them, more money. So it is going to be more difficult the more the pre-season goes on. But I think they're in a good position. I think they've added well. They've added very young players as well. One old one, Townsend at left back, which we needed. But the rest are exciting young players as well. And they've always made a mission of getting exciting young players, then not only for the short term but for the long term. And I think they've done well here.
What do you think, Russ?
I agree with Terry. Young players with room to improve, and that's what Keir McKenna has been very good at over the last couple of years, especially. Improving the players that he's brought to the club. I think it's going to be very exciting. I think they're obviously very keen to get 2 good, adequate players for each position. That's not always easy. And just when you think you've got all your bases covered, you go and get a couple of injuries, and that sort of curtails things a little bit. But I'm very much looking forward to seeing them play this season, especially that first game against Liverpool.
Yeah, our special guest next week will be Johnny Walk.
Who?
Ahead of that, so that will be an interesting one. What do you think, Chamber, about the ins and outs and the dealings?
Yeah, like the boys said, really, I think it's been really clever work. At the end of the day, there's going to be a lot of people, like we mentioned, agents before, and the prices that Ipswich will have to pay will be inflated, because they know that when you come up from the Championship, you have to spend a lot of money. So what they've done, the business they've done, and with Kieran working with them, with the team they've got down there, they're only going to improve those players, and they're players that you would probably imagine, like what some of us were questioning at the start of last season, can the boys step up? Well, the proof was in the pudding, and the work they all carried out together. I've got no doubt that that'll be the same, and like Russ said, it's going to be really, really exciting.
Were you ever worried when at pre-season you sort of thinking, I'm looking around this squad, we need help, we need the cavalry to come? Were you always thinking that, or were you very happy?
I think as a player, and someone like myself who was playing regularly, you want to be challenged first and foremost in your position. You don't want it always to be easy, because that's when like negativity sets in. But you always want new players. It's the best feeling in the world. You turn up to pre-season and you're hearing the rumours of who we're going to sign or who might join, and you have 3 or 4 new faces in the first day, in the first week, and you're like, that's a signal of intent. Like, that's what you want to get behind. And that's what I feel they've done. And they haven't rushed the signings. They'll have been planning that list for a long, long time, and they'll have experienced all them boys last year, playing against them, had them watched over and over again. But yeah, as a player, you want the club to spend 67 million.
And it's always interesting to see the new players come in and see how fit they are. You think, well, you've seen them play before, and then you see them in training, you think, crikey, he's even fitter than I thought he would be. He's an even better player than I thought he was. And then you start to appreciate just how good some of the players are that have been brought to the club. And
that's exactly a good point, because when you're a player, you play against that opposition twice. And as a fan, you see that opposition twice. They might have 2 poor games. They might not play well against you. So you might have that sort of opinion of them where they're not to the level they need to be, but the rest of the season they may have absolute worldies that you don't see, and then you can. And it's always a nice feeling when you are surprised. You may be a bit underwhelmed by specific signings. Not to say that any of the signings we've made are underwhelming. It's just you really realise when you see a player week in, week out, day in, day out, how good they are. And I can only speak about the players that I played with. And
Well, we used to look at how they could play. Were they good players? But most importantly, we thought, are they good drinkers? And do they pay their way? That was the thing.
That's it. It was easy. It was easy back then.
Let's look at some of the names coming in. Amari Hutchinson. I mean, everybody was really pleased at that. Good to get him back. I mean, he got better and better, didn't he, last season?
Well, he did, but he's one of the. Everybody wanted him back because he can turn games on their heads, and he can win them as well. It all depends where he's going to play, because he's probably better on the right, coming in on his left foot. But we've got Burns on the right, but he's great to have. And when you have competition for places all over the pitch, as Chambo says, it adds to the intensity, it adds to the quality of each player as well, because they want to be in the team. So, but they understand it's a squad game now more than ever, and they know that they'll get their chance, but then they've got to take it. But I think it's exciting. It's lovely, isn't it? As fans seeing how many millions we're going to spend, it's just incredible.
Unbelievable, yeah.
Wow.
What a journey it's been for
It's
2
incredible,
years
isn't it?
at least. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just incredible.
Amazing.
And you're talking about having Wes Burns and Amari Hutchison as your right-sided options, and that's not to say anyone else can play out in those positions. But
And they should have Luke Chambers overlapping them, should they? Or things like that. Or
I couldn't do it now, mate.
Hladky's gone. I thought he had a really great season last season, so I was quite sad to see him go. Our new keeper, Muric, does seem to have a bit of a desire to go forward and to play the ball out, and we were all a bit worried about that with our previous 2 goalkeepers, and I think he's going to be doing that even more than what we've seen before. He loves to come right out, and is that a worry, or should we just let them get on with it? They know what they're doing.
I think they know what they're doing.
It's a bit scary as a fan, though. You sit there going, "Oh my God."
Well, call me old-fashioned, but if the most expensive players are the strikers and the midfield players, they must be the best players, and I think they should have the ball a lot quicker. Not leave it to back 3 or back 4 like us.
We don't want it.
Not quite so talented, and a goalkeeper who's even less talented than us. So I'm one of those that likes the ball to get forward a little bit quicker. To the best players that we have in the side, apparently.
And a quick word about Hurst being out. Does this mean that we should break the bank and get Schmodics in from Blackburn?
Yep.
Capacity crowd. What do we think? Yeah.
I mean, they must know all about Smodics because they've been in with bids and everything else. Been in for a long time. So hopefully we can get our man. But it's like the agent. You don't know if the agent's playing a bit cute to get more money and everything else. So
I'll text him tomorrow. See how he's.
Yeah, good.
He wants to leave, doesn't he? By the sound of it.
Well, he obviously wants to come here.
Yeah.
But that's the game you have to play. It's a bit cat and mouse, and he'll be doing what's best for him,
He'll
his
be
family. His agent will be doing what's best for his agent.
Would he be?
We're going to do
signing?
what's. I think it'd be a great sign, but sort of comparing the 2 players, Hursty and him, it's totally different, isn't it? So he's going to be difficult to replace, as we saw last year. Obviously, Kiefer came in and done really, really well, but when Hurst was back, it really, really went up a notch. And obviously, when Wes came back in on that right-hand side and freed other people up, again, the results
Where
came.
else do we need to strengthen, do you think? We still need a few more, do we?
Yeah,
Right
right
back.
back.
Kieran said we need a few
we need
more.
a right back. We need, I think, for me, central midfield player.
Someone with a bit of pace in midfield.
Bit of pace, bit of quality, and a left wing, a left-sided player. I mean, we've got Broadhead, and we haven't got much else.
But then we play very, very lopsided, don't we?
We
We
do.
have Leaf plays high and wide on the left, which allows us to play with 2 or 3 number 10s at times, and Broadies tucks in. So that's where we get our width from. But yeah, to have an out-and-out left-sider to rival Wes and, to join Wes and give us another dimension, I think that's what will be needed.
I think with the 2 promoted teams, Southampton and Leicester, with us, we were probably had less passes as a team, which indicates that they do get the ball forward quicker than the other 2, and I think that's what Town do. And I think that people was talking, especially when Maresca was at Leicester, it was a complete nightmare, and the fans were watching the game like that because they're playing all the passes across the back. We don't do that. Kieran doesn't want that. You do play passes, but you're looking to get balls into those number 10s. Yeah. So the way that they play is a good way of playing. That's why I think they'll do very well.
Yeah, we messed it up a couple of times last year, and Hladky, bless him, I thought he had a great season because he did exactly what Kieran McKenna asked him to do. Play out from the back.
And occasionally that's going to go wrong, isn't it?
Bring everybody
it's
into the game.
It's accepted as part of the game.
Yeah.
And you've truly got a manager who is confident, look, this will go wrong. I will never dig you out. He didn't drop him, did he? He didn't criticise him. It's like part of the game. And then he might have made a mistake, but next time he's saving the team with one of his amazing saves that he carried
I don't
out.
think we can read much into the pre-season friendlies, and we shouldn't really read much into pre-season anyway. But I'm just intrigued by what they're doing now for pre-season and what your pre-seasons were like. What were yours like, Chambo? Did you have some nice trips abroad and the lads all behave themselves?
Yeah, always behave themselves. I was in charge, wasn't I? So yeah.
You were the
they
ringmaster,
did.
weren't
They
you?
did. They were all right because we had Mick in charge, and you didn't really want to upset him too often. So you didn't really want to risk what the outcome would be.
I would have upset him.
Yeah, certainly. I've got no doubt. You do that a lot of people, Butch. To be honest.
I did. Yeah. Pre-season was good, wasn't it?
So you had to sort of keep an eye on one or two.
Yeah,
did
there
you?
were curfews. There was. There was stuff that
Did you ever
actually
break the
happened.
curfew?
Me personally.
Yeah.
That's what they're there for.
Yeah.
Breaking.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, I didn't want 2 weeks' wages. I bottled it, to be honest. J-Tab did once because he went and got the kebabs for the lads, and then Mick done him a week's wages, and we were all sat upstairs in the hotel lobby. So he didn't. I don't think he spoke to me since, to be honest.
Yeah.
So you had a whip round and sort of squared him up for them.
He just had to hold it. Should have gone to the kebab house earlier, shouldn't he, for the lads?
Should have done, really.
Oh, it's a tough school there, wasn't it? A tough
exactly.
school.
Well, did you ever break curfews then, boys?
Yes,
Yeah.
on a regular.
You should have said, do you
Regularly.
actually keep curfews? And we'd have said no. No, they're there to be broken.
No.
Any moments that spring to mind from those
Several,
trips?
several, yeah, several.
Yeah, going to
Thank
tell
you.
us about them?
Moving on.
Well, it was well, it was all Holland. We used to go to Holland.
Zeiss was.
Yeah,
Zeiss was.
Franz Tyson was. We'd like to say he led us astray, but because we used to look across the room to him. We'd had our meal after the game and we got a free night sort of thing. But Bobby wanted you to back about 12, and then we used to have a bit of a nod and that and sort of thing. We'd be like this, food, drinks. So we used to meet outside, and Franz would show us everywhere, in Amsterdam or Rotterdam or wherever it was. It was great. It was really good. And you always think you're going to get away with it, and you get back to the rooms, and there's Bobby Ferguson or there's Bobby Robson in the corridor, and you get done. But we used to be playing tournaments, and you used to get 100 quid, 200 quid. I think it's taxman won't be bothered about that now, but and we used to get that as a fee, which was quite a lot of money. So. But we used to blow that on the trip. So I used to tell Reece and my wife.
Try and sneak back and things like that? Or?
Well, we did, but we never worked, of course. But I just tell Reece, and she says, "Did you get any sort of bonus or sort of thing?" I said, "No." And but Bobby took it all. No. Bobby took it all.
She knows now.
Oh, she knew. Yeah.
It was just amazing that you never got lost on one of those nights, because you'd be in bars, in towns, in little villages, wherever. And like you say, Amsterdam, Rotterdam, middle of nowhere. You never got lost. You always managed to find your way home in time for training the next day.
Amazing.
You used to take a cricket bat with it, didn't you? Remember taking a cricket bat?
Yeah, we had
with a
game of
cricket
cricket.
bat. And we go
What,
to
on nights out?
What do we use it
No,
for?
not nights out. No, it felt like I've been hit by a cricket bat when I was there. But we used to go into the squares and play the cricket, and we were in the corridors.
Yeah.
The corridors are big corridors. All the boys used to sit in their rooms, so they'd look out. You come down to bowl at the guy down the other end, and every player stayed in their room when you bowled. And when the ball went past them, they used to pop out as fielders, and you used to whack it, and it would be like real cricket where it would bounce, bing, bing, ding like this sort of thing, and then they'd catch it. Well, we had some great fun. That was
Perhaps we need to bring that back.
Yeah, that was a sort of preamble for us going out. So yeah.
Excellent. Well, look, we've got lots of new features. It's Live to Pitch TV on YouTube and podcast and on Suffolk Sound. And it's time now for the Live to Pitch TV Player of the Week, sponsored by the Dove in Ipswich. So who do you reckon this week, boys?
It's a bit close to call, isn't it?
It's got to be one of us three.
Yes, it has.
Yeah. Well, you're deciding vote, you said.
No,
the new boy. Okay, I'll make it easy.
I was going to go for Butch because otherwise he'll say I'll see you in the car park. So,
congratulations.
We'll
but it'll be interesting to get your thoughts every week on who is the Player of the Week, and it will go towards our end of season bash, our awards that we do at the end of the season. So it'll be interesting to see that. So thanks to the Doves for sponsoring that. We're going to put you on the spot though. We have a quiz every week now. This is brand new. It's a question for you, Terry, and you, Russell. And Chambo's going to do his best to help or hinder you on this. It's Ask the Legend, and it's sponsored by Seckford Golf Club. And we welcome Simon J, everybody, from Seckford. He's one of the course professionals. And he's the number one quizmaster to test you out, boys. So can you give us a quick idea of what the kind of questions will be each week, Simon?
Of course, yeah. So each week we're going to be asking you a question. We're going to try and get the correct answer, of course, or the nearest guess, depending on the style of question.
And can the crowd help at all here or hinder?
Hinder, I think.
Okay.
I think hindering. Are we up for hindering? Oh, yeah. Yes, we're up for hindering. Okay.
Hindering.
So Luke's going to do his best to support or not, as the case may be here. And then we're going to tally these up towards the end of the season each week. There might be a prize or there might be a forfeit. We haven't decided yet. Is that right? Oh, I'm getting that look.
Wherever you say.
I'm getting that butcher look.
All right.
Yeah. We'll see. Come on then, what have you got for us,
Here we
Simon?
go then. Question tonight for you both is, in the 1978, great year of course, FA Cup run, how many goals did Ipswich score in the 7 matches from the third round to and including the final?
Is there a time limit on this?
How long are we
Yeah,
giving them?
Chambo's got to go in a minute.
Yeah. So 78 FA Cup run. How many goals did Ipswich score in the 7 matches from the third round to and including the final?
I think it was like 23, wasn't it? Something like that.
You went alive then, Chamber, don't worry.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Were you?
You were 23.
Were you Chambo in 78?
I was not, no.
No, okay. Makes me feel old. Yeah, all of us.
Sorry.
Almost.
Sorry, guys.
Right, you ready?
Russ is working out. Look.
Yeah, we're waiting. Yeah.
14.
14. Russell?
What are you going for, Russ?
16.
Way out, aren't they? Any ideas? Come on, John, what do you reckon? 21. Any advances on that over here?
Churchman's going for
Neil's
21.
going for 21
What
at
do
the
you reckon,
back.
North Stand? Yeah.
Yeah,
It
replays.
does, yeah. The 7
Yeah.
matches.
So it was.
John, that's amazing. 21 is the correct answer.
So who was closest?
I think Russell, wasn't
Russell. A
Yeah.
point to
Yeah.
Russell.
Thank you.
it? Russell takes the lead.
None for
I
you,
said
Terry.
23, I was messing about.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Simon from
Thank
Seckford,
you,
everybody.
thank you.
Now we loved the Keep You Up challenge last season, didn't we?
We did.
But some of our guests came in and they feigned knee injuries and all sorts of different things to do the Keep You Up challenge. Butch, it actually wasn't your favourite, was it?
No.
No. So we've changed it. And so what we have now, we have a fabulous football table, which you can see in front of me. It's part of the DPS Tech Arena. It's sponsored by Fred Olsen Logistics.
Hello.
So basically what we have is we have 2 England defenders. Do you want to put your microphones down and please come and take your places on the blue sticks, okay? The blue sticks. Come on, boys. We haven't got all night. Come on. Hear those
Someone
creaking
point the blue
bones.
sticks out to him.
Other side. Yeah, other side. So we need a challenger, and let's get Chambo on. So we're going to give you, Chambo, 60 seconds to see how many goals you can score. We're not worried about how many goals you boys score. You are defenders. Chambo, you're a striker tonight, okay? 60 seconds to see how many goals you can score in 60 seconds. We've got our leaderboard up behind you. You're guaranteed to be top of the leaderboard. Are you ready?
Can these head it?
You can do whatever you want. In off the backside, off the head.
Are these two going to mess around by getting the balls out
The
really slowly?
the balls are down the bottom here, look. So you can be in charge of the balls. Okay?
Apart from half at the other end.
Balls either end. So let's see how we go. We've got a camera above your head so we can all watch and we can all cheer when those goals go in. 60 seconds starts.
That's what I usually do.
2-0. And it looks like spinning's allowed on this, by the looks of it.
Stop spinning.
Oh no, it's much more of a game now. It's much more of a game. 2 goals scored. Oh, 3 goals scored against our England. Oh, 4 goals scored against our England champions. 4 goals scored. Come on, Chamber, see if we can get 5. You've had 30 seconds. It's 4 goals in at the moment. Playing for time, I think, here, the England defenders.
Keeping the ball like these two.
Yeah. Oh, it's a 5. 5 goals. 5 goals. Who's in goal for you? Is that Shilton? 5 goals against our England defenders for our new table top challenge.
Come on, Mick's watching.
Yeah.
Clean sheet.
Yeah, clean sheet so far. Spin it again. Come on. Oh. Oh. There we are. Well done. Top of the leaderboard. 5-0. 5-0. Did you ever have a 5-0 against you?
Yeah?
Who was that?
I'm not telling you.
Okay.
But thanks for that anyway.
No, it's okay. I just thought I'd
We used to win 5-0 quite a lot. So
We
yeah.
didn't.
No, I know, yeah.
Yeah.
Brazil scored all 5.
Brazil, yeah. Yeah.
England against...
Just
Didn't McDonald get 5 goals once?
how old do you think I am?
Old McDonald.
McDonald did get 5, yeah.
We'll do that next week, and you'll be playing against... It'll be England-Scotland next week, because it'll be Johnny Walk.
All right.
They were quite hefty England-Scotland rivalries, weren't they? You two had with him and George, of course, and others.
Yeah, Brazil.
Yeah. What were they like when you were playing against each other, teammates?
It was quite
Easy, weren't they?
it was easy, yeah. It was quite
Easy.
exciting. The worst thing is I had to try and get Brazil out of my back pocket, and it was quite a hefty challenge, I'll tell you. So yeah, but we had some great games against them. We invariably won, I think.
Yeah. Dressing room banter when they got back?
Yeah, it was good.
All the time.
Merciless. Yeah, it was great. That's what it was. That's what it was all about. But it was good fun.
Well, Scotland wanted to take on everybody, didn't they?
Yeah, they wanted to.
You know.
Yeah, but it was good. It was good to beat them because it's a big thing, isn't it? Beating the Jocks. It really is.
Well, we'll find out next week.
We will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Look, we're halfway through our brand new show. It's on YouTube, it's on podcast, it's on Suffolk Sound. Our capacity crowd are here. They're melting because I certainly am. It's really hot in here. But it's time to say goodbye to Chambo because he's got to go. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks because you're not here next week, are you? You're off elsewhere next week. But welcome to the show and thanks for making your debut tonight. And it's great to have you as part of the team.
No, delighted to be here, guys. Thanks ever so much. See you in a couple of weeks.
Luke Chambers!
Now he's gone.
Actually, the door was really nice when that opened. It was really nice. If you've ever been in our capacity crowd, you know how warm it can get in here. If you want to be part of the capacity crowd, you can apply via our website, lifesapitch.tv, lifesapitch.tv. Now, we need a guest to go onto the sofa over there. And would you please welcome our next guest? He's put together a fantastic book all about the Ipswich Town legend that is Mr. George Burley. All to play for, playoffs, promotion, Premier League, it was all to play for. And the author of the book is the guy that put, and many of us have got this, the great UEFA Cup book from back in the day, which you'll agree was a fantastic book. So please welcome onto our sofa, Neil Prentice, everybody! Tell us about your shirt first of all, because it's got Stuart on the back.
It has, yes. It's a match-worn shirt from Marcus Stewart, so from the era that we're talking about in the book. And he wore that for a famous match against Tottenham when we only beat them 3-0 on a very cold day in December 2000. I'm sure lots of you remember it.
I think we'd settle for a result like that this season, wouldn't we?
Yeah, I think so.
We certainly would, yeah. This UEFA Cup book that you put together, I know lots of us got that. I love that. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. And this one with George, you've been collaborating with him quite closely, haven't you?
I have, yes. So I only started in March, so it all came about. I had lunch with a friend of mine, Mike Noy, over there, who's in the audience tonight.
Ipswich Town legend, everybody, Mike Noy.
And I said to Mike, I've got an idea about writing a book about George's time as manager. And he said, that's a great idea. I'll give George a call and I'll introduce you. So by the time I'd got back to my desk, Mike had made the call, set up the meeting. I met George the next week. He agreed to do it. And then since then, I've been busy.
Yeah. I think we've got a picture of you and him collaborating together. I think we can probably get that up for... there's a picture of George holding up one of his many, many trophies. I think we've got another picture of you two together that we can just show our YouTube audience as well. There you are with George. Good experience for you being up close and hearing his stories?
It's been incredible. We've spent 15 hours together working on the book, going through every aspect of his career at Ipswich, both as a player and as a manager. Thought it was really important that we covered his time as a player because so much of that informed what he went on to do as a manager. He was very influenced by Bobby Robson and the team that you had, and being part of that. And it was an essential part of it, really. But the focus of the book is about his time as a manager. It's not just George, it's all of the players as well.
Yeah, a lot of contributions.
Did he take much persuading? Because that's his first book, isn't it?
It is, yeah, and I was really honoured that he agreed to do it because Mike had said to me that he'd turned down offers before to write a book. So when he agreed to do it, and he agreed straight away, I think the 80-81 book was really helpful in persuading him that I had something different in mind. It wasn't a straightforward autobiography. It was, something a little bit more involved. and because I wanted to get all the different facets of the club across as well. I think that's what sort of incentivised him really.
And a lot of stories from people who George has touched through football, players, supporters like me. I've got a little bit in the book as well, and it's a really interesting perspective from different people about his time.
Yeah, what I wanted to do was try and capture the whole spirit of the club, not just on the pitch, but off it as well. So I was fortunate enough to sort of be involved in my role at Jacob Bailey. I was producing magazines and brochures and working closely with Mike and lots of great people like Mike Brooks and Paul Clouting and Alicia Gooderham and Richard Powell. So many nice people.
All the names from around 2000 particularly.
Yeah. Edwina in reception, Pat Godbold, of course, who I'm going to see tomorrow.
Can we just say hi to Pat, because she's retired officially the other day. So can we have a round of
Hello,
applause for Pat?
Evening, Patricia.
Sorry to Neil and to all of our other guests, but she's been our favourite voice, hasn't she, Pat?
Yeah.
We've got to get her back for episode 3. But sorry, Neil, carry on.
Too right, yes. Yeah. So, I mean, Pat was just great. So I worked with Pat on all of the frames that used to be up in the corridors. And I remember meeting Pat, and she took one look at me and thought, who the hell is this young lad? What use is he to me? And we got chatting, and she realised that I had a really deep understanding and interest in the club. And then she went off to this little cupboard that she used to have, and she pulled out these Alka-Seltzers, and she said, what are we going to do with these? They're Mr. John's Alka-Seltzers. We've got to find somewhere for them to go. He'd been dead, I think, 20 years at the time. So it was, but that's Pat, isn't it? Yeah.
You unearthed all sorts of stories, I'm sure. What are your favourite stories about George to talk about today?
There was one when he walked through the glass door at the Belston Brook Hotel one Christmas, I think. And I was walking into the Christmas lunch, not walking away from it. I think he just banged his knee and the whole front door just shattered, and 12 o'clock in the morning, wasn't it? Yeah. Very early, on the way in.
Did he tell you the story of when he was in hospital with his knee, with Dandy? Was it the surgeon, Mr. Dandy?
Yeah.
And we all dropped off on the way to a game. Obviously he was injured, so he missed the game, but we all brought in a visitor for him.
You did?
Yeah, it was a black blow-up doll, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was.
An inflatable.
That's in the book.
And you rearranged the fruit as well, I believe.
Well, yeah, that did come in.
You've got to elaborate on this for us.
Well, with the fruit.
The fruit
I think you can make your own minds up with the fruit.
He blamed Paul Mariner.
Yeah. But the doll was wearing my coat. That was the thing. Yeah.
Oh, so she walked in with you all, and
yeah. So we got her in. We smuggled her in, and then presented it to George. And I think Jill was there. She might have been. She was there. Yeah. So as soon as we saw Jill, we thought, right, that's it. We've got to get out.
Get out quick.
Well, I think the bit of a word of advice was to George: don't give it a love bite, whatever you do. There were certain people in the audience wouldn't understand that, and I apologise about that.
It's good advice for everybody listening and watching at home as well. George has combined 913 matches as a player and a manager. Is stunning, isn't it?
It is, and funnily enough, it's a record that I don't think many people are aware of, because when I sort of was calculating all of the games that he'd been involved in, so he'd done 500 exactly 500 as a player, and then 413 as a manager. So together, he's been involved in more games than any other personality in the club's history. I think most people, and even George, he had no idea. He had no idea that he'd been involved in more games than Bobby Robson.
And he missed a lot with his knee injury as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Nearly season and a half's worth of games.
Yeah, 40, 50 games, yeah.
It's like the only bad injury that he had, and it was a bad one. And we missed him that year.
And he was the first player to ever recover from a cruciate ligament injury.
Yeah.
Which is incredible.
Yeah.
And a lot of talk about the awards that Kieran won last year, and quite rightly so, but he was Premier League Manager of the Year.
He was, and if you look at the history of managers that have won that award, he's actually remains one of only 12 people to have won it, because so many of the managers have won it multiple times.
Yeah.
So you've got Alex Ferguson, who's probably won it 10 times, and Arsene Wenger and Mourinho, and so he's one of 12 people to have won that. And he was the first non-league championship winner as well.
Blimey.
Amazing.
There you go.
And I know from talking to you, you talked how closely you worked with George on this. He wants it to be an honest appraisal, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. He's been brilliant. And so what I wanted to do was to speak to not only him, but to get opinions on what he was like to work with as a manager from all of the players. And he's not left anything out. I've written everything as people have told me. So it's a very honest account. And he's not said, no, I don't want that in, leave that out. He's just said, that's what they felt, it goes in.
Did he admit to breaking my cheekbone at all?
He hasn't said about that one to me.
Oh, there you go. See, there we are.
No.
He broke my cheekbone in 1978.
Well, night out or
No,
playing a game?
we were playing Bruges, and it was we were then playing in obviously the Charity Shield when we got back.
Oh yeah.
Not for me though, because the ball went on the right hand side high in the air, and I've run across, and as I've headed it away, I felt a bit of a pain in my cheekbone, and that was George. George got there as quick as he can, is what he said afterwards. Broke my cheekbone. But I missed the Charity Shield because of the cheekbone, and it was a good one to miss because we lost 5-0.
Yeah. That's why we lost.
When you lost 5-0.
But I wasn't playing in that. I wasn't playing in that, obviously. I was in hospital. But
We had a few missed that, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Kevin, Alan, you. We had a pretty depleted team for that Charter Shield game. We did well to keep it at 5.
Yeah. What are your memories and thoughts of George's time as a player?
George, well, when you hear him talk about the day he made his debut against George Best, and he's still a lot of people could have shriveled up and disappeared under that sort of challenge. But George thrived on it, really, and his dedication to his job as a player, which is why I didn't know George as a manager. We'd gone our separate ways by then. But as a player, his work ethic was terrific. We had a certain style of playing where we would like to get the ball from the back players to the front players as quickly as we could, as safely as we could. And for George, it was a case of finding Paul Mann or Trevor Weinmark or Eric Gates with a forward pass. And he would practice and practice and practice his delivery, for hours after training. His final ball into the box from the advanced position, and that was from somebody who was an established quality international right back. He was still working hard at it all the time.
He also used to work hard one-on-ones.
Yeah.
His dedication to that was after training, he would get the younger boys or somebody in the squad to just keep taking him on. He'd probably do about 20 or 30 after training because he was so he wanted to be perfect, he wanted to be right, and we just used to stand there and just admire it because he'd win virtually every tackle.
If you want to be the best, you have to keep practicing and trying.
He would watch when he took a touch on the ball, and as he took a touch on the ball, he would go towards it. And
he was opinionated, George. If he disagreed with something that Sir Bobby wanted him to do, or whether it was Sir Lee or Bobby Ferguson, George would stand up to him and say, "No, I don't think that's right. I think that's the wrong way of doing it." And he really would stand his corner and go head to head with him about things. So he was his own man, and that obviously gave him a lot of credence as a manager.
One of the big sections of the book is with David Sheepshanks talking about George. Is that as a player and as a manager?
Just as a manager.
Okay.
Because David came in as chairman just after George had been appointed as manager, and I think really that period was very much them as a double act. And personally, I think we were very lucky to have them. I think they were brilliant together. So I was really intrigued to learn about the relationship that they had. As obviously things went well, there were challenges. There was the playoff defeats that they had to overcome. So David and the board had to be really patient and really supportive during those points. They enjoyed the success together, which was fantastic, and then they enjoyed a sticky period as well, and ultimately obviously David had to let George go. So it was really interesting to hear David's thoughts and to get his viewpoint on their relationship, and also his commentary on what happened at the club during that time.
Any other stories stand out from the players that you interviewed?
So many. The players have been absolutely amazing, and what I sort of see my role as in the book is really about being a facilitator who's trying to communicate what the players are wanting to say to the fans, and trying to help the fans to feel like they're being told these stories, as if they were there listening to them.
And was the title of the book is All to Play For?
All to play for.
That was one of his phrases, wasn't it? He used that all the time.
Yeah.
All to play for.
Yeah. Well, it never felt like we had a dead rubber under George. Every game there was something on it, whether it was at the start, whether it was, trying to stay up. Then it was fighting for the playoffs, fighting for promotion, getting up. We were trying to get into Europe, and then ultimately, trying to stay up again. But it was always something on it, and it was always exciting.
I would have gone for an alternative title, No Easy Games, because I used to do a lot of interviews with him back in the day at that time and before when we were trying to get up into the Premier League. And every week, so someone from Radio Suffolk would go and do an interview and he'd always say, no easy games, no easy games, no easy games. And and he was just fantastic. It was just a great time.
Well, I don't think George ever really gave much away to the media, did he, in those times? And that was why, again, it was important to do the book, because the other great thing about having that gap in time has been the way people talk about it. They talk about it in a different way. They talk about it with reflection, and they can communicate things in a different way.
9 of the big matches covered in detail. Which 9 are they? That's testing you out now, isn't it? Yeah, pick one or two.
I can tell you all 9, but
Bolton?
The Bolton, both the one that we lost as well, because I thought it was important to cover that, because that's a bit of a forgotten game, really. It was an incredible night. The victory over Bolton, which I think was probably the best game that I've ever seen at Portman Road, an incredible night and probably the best atmosphere as well. You've got the 1-1 draw with Manchester United, the win at Anfield. There's 12 pages of coverage on Wembley, the Inter Milan game, Blackburn in the FA Cup, Norwich 5-0.
I think that deserves more than just a way over the corner. 5-0.
A bit slow.
Is that 9?
Have you? Yeah, that'll do. Have you seen the very dead canary just down here? Look, which is, we burst that last season, and I think, do they play Oxford this weekend? What a shame! How dull is that?
Who cares?
Who cares? Down. It won't go any further. It won't go down any further. So many great memories of a player and a manager, and so the book is, well, you can pre-order it by going to a website, can't you?
You can pre-order it now, and please do pre-order it.
Yeah.
So there's 913 limited edition copies with a sleeve and a certificate, all signed by George as well. So please, beat the rush on those and get that pre-ordered. And then obviously the 913 represents, each copy represents one of his matches.
GeorgeBurleyBook.com.
That's right.
GeorgeBurleyBook.com, and that will route you through to our Life'sAPitch.tv website where people can pre-order those books.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And when will it be out and about?
So we're going to try and get it off to print in mid-September, so I've got about a month's more work to do on it. So that means it will turn up around mid-November.
Brilliant. So just in time for Christmas.
Just in time for Christmas.
Perfect.
Yeah.
What a great picture on the front. There's George smiling away. Fantastic book. And his quote on the back, we'd been in Europe when I was a player, and it was there I wanted to take the club as a manager, and we did it. The dream came true. And there's a little bit in there about my experience of going to Milan as a broadcaster. Who went to Inter Milan? San Siro? Yep. It was just amazing. You walked around, and it was probably the same every year for you guys, but for us it was a real treat. And you walked around Milan town centre and you just bumped into everybody. It was like walking around Ipswich town centre. It was just fantastic. 10,000 of us, and the Italian police were a little bit sort of wary of us on the way in, but on the way out they were laughing and joking, and they complimented us. 10,000 people, not one jot of trouble. It was just amazing. It was a great trip out. And I know a lot of town fans who didn't experience your era of going into Europe certainly appreciated what George did.
I think Norwich have got a similar story, haven't they, somewhere along the line?
Say again?
No, they've not been in Europe, have they? No.
Can't quite remember that one.
Well, I think they celebrate the Jeremy Goss goal, don't they?
They do.
That's the thing they celebrate,
Yeah.
the Jeremy Goss goal. And Oxford this weekend.
Yeah.
Come on, Oxford.
I said for years that the natural order would be restored, and it's taken quite a while, but now the natural order has been restored. We're back where we belong, aren't we? And they're back where they belong. but they could slip even further. GeorgeBurleyBook.com. Go to that and it will route you through to our lifesapitch.tv website. 913 advanced copies. They'll all be signed. And it genuinely, I've seen a lot of it, and it is fantastic. It really is. It's the UEFA Cup book you did was pure quality, and this is way beyond that. It's just a lovely glossary, and I think it's one of those books that you can just pick up, put down, pick up, put down. You don't necessarily have to read it cover to cover to begin with. Is that what you're aiming for?
I want people to get lost in it.
Yeah.
I want people to pick it up time and again and just feel like they're transported back to that time, and they can hear the players' voices, they can hear George's voice talking to them. And I want them to just, so if you've got any family that you don't like at Christmas who support Ipswich Town, give them a copy, and I don't think you'll see them.
Okay, fantastic.
Lovely.
Neil, it's
What a good
brilliant. Give
idea.
Neil a big round of applause. Stay seated on the sofa over there next to our legends. It's time for our On This Day in History. It's sponsored by Fred Olsen Logistics. Over to you, Russ.
Thank you, Leslie. Floor manager's
Were you
just
supposed to
having
cue him in?
a little moment. Thank you, no problem. I'll watch the screen if you
It
like.
is the first show. It is the first show
Be
back.
better next week.
Yeah, right, 7th of August, 1972. Towering centre-half Phil Whelan was born in Stockport. If you remember Mr. Phil Whelan, he was signed by John Lyle. He headed home on his debut in a crucial 2-1 win over Southend United in the 1991-92 Division 2 winning season. He won an England under-21 cap and was later transferred to Middlesbrough for £300,000. Also on this day, the 7th of August, this time 1999, Nottingham Forest were beaten 3-1 on the opening day of the season thanks to 2 goals, one from James Scowcroft and David Johnson, and Richard Naylor. Yeah, so 3-1 on the day. There's also just a little snippet from a couple of days after that, if you'll excuse me taking a chance here. Tuesday the 9th of August. I just found this quite amusing. Anybody remember Mark Fish?
Yes.
9th of August 2005, South African defender Mark Fish was hauled off at half-time on his debut and never appeared for Town again after a woeful display in a 2-1 defeat at Queen's Park Rangers. Wow.
Can we think, are there any other ones that I can remember in George's time? Ulrich Le Pen, Lulu, didn't last very long, did he? In George's time. Yeah.
Lulu.
Yeah.
Lulu Le Pen.
Yeah. Ulrich Le Pen. It's called Lulu.
Lulu.
Was that his
Great
real
name.
name, yeah?
Ulrich Le Pen. His nickname was Lulu.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right, well, that's all that happened on this day in history, and again, that's from Dan Botton's book, and we're
Now,
just awaiting
yes,
the
we
new
are.
version, aren't we?
Inspired by Russell every week, reading it out on Life's a Pitch TV, Dan has done a new book. Yay! And I think it goes 15 years closer to where we are now.
Does it? Lovely.
So there'll be lots of sort of more recent references in Dan's book. It comes out next week, so hopefully next week on the show we'll have an up-to-date version for you to look at. And he's also done a miscellany as well, so 2 books from Dan coming out. And I think you've done forwards in each of them, haven't you?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we've done,
Yes.
done a little bit here and there.
Yeah, we done. Yeah, we have. Yeah, you've done one, and I've done one.
I've done one, yeah.
Yeah.
Well done, Mark. That was great.
Excellent. Great.
Sorry, I was asleep then. I passed away then.
How's that boring, was it?
I know it's warm, Terry, and it's getting late. I know it's 5 to 8. Look,
Yeah.
Sauna in here. for
that'll
goodness
be
sake.
back next. It is like a sauna, so we're going to finish in a second or two. But it wouldn't be Life's a Pitch TV without the Man v Fat football results. And Man v Fat Mark's been in touch. The Man v Fat leagues have continued through the close season, and the guys have lost an impressive 117 kilograms. If you don't know what that is, that's 18 stone in the last 13 weeks, which is absolutely incredible. Warren Rycraft has lost 30% of his body weight. Travis Simmons has lost 20%, so congratulations to them. And actually, if they'd have been in here tonight, they probably would have lost just as much as we have. This week's results: Borussia München Flapjack 14, Ivory Toast 14, Red Hot Chubby Fellas 9, Galatasaray 10. I've got to be really careful how I read this out.
What's that, Mark? Be careful.
The Red Cat Funts 10, the Wickham Waddlers 6. Team names of the week come from our Chelmsford League, and they are Kebabadine and Bayer Liposuction. Also worth a mention that our 11-a-side team travelled to Norwich last week and beat them 5-0. Best wishes for the new season to everybody at Life's a Pitch TV, and a big welcome to Chambo. That's from Man v Fat Mark. So we'll bring you those results every week on the show.
I was given an email. It said that over the whole of the UK, since its existence, Man v Fat has lost £700,000.
Wow.
Not weight. It's just he lost the money, but no, it hasn't. It actually has
Didn't
lost.
realise the subs were that expensive every week.
Yeah.
That's incredible, though, isn't it?
That's phenomenal.
It's
yeah.
absolutely amazing.
But they've also made the community and everything else as well, and they've done a lot of good.
Yeah, no, they're big supporters as well. So that's it for this week. Have you enjoyed yourselves, although it is rather hot? Yes. Are we looking forward to the new season?
Yes.
Are we going to beat Liverpool?
Yes.
Oh, that's confidence. I love it. That's confidence. Don't forget, you can keep up with what we're doing on our socials. You can find us on Facebook, on Instagram, also on LinkedIn and X, formerly Twitter, if it's still open after Elon Musk and others have been commenting on it. Not our posts, by the way, I have to add, just everybody else's. So keep in touch like that. And don't forget, if you want tickets to come and join our capacity crowd, we're trying to open it up to as many people as possible. So lifesapitch.tv. I think if you go on there now, it should be open for next week with Johnny Walk, who's our special guest next week. Of course, Liverpool
Lovely.
and town legend.
Yeah.
So
Proper legend.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he was great fun last time he was here.
It'll be interesting to see what he says about Liverpool, because obviously he loves Liverpool as well as us. So he'd be sitting on the fence and saying a draw, I would imagine.
He'll have one of those dual scarves when he with Liverpool one side and
yeah,
You won't be able to understand him, though.
No, you won't understand him. Right?
Well, we have subtitles.
We have him dubbed, yeah.
Subtitles on YouTube, so that's absolutely fine. Don't forget, you can find Neil's book on our website as well, lifespitch.tv, or go to georgeburleybook.com. Next week, our opening Premier League match at home to Liverpool. So, as I said, our special guest will be John Walk. So we'll see you next week for that. We're going off now for a cold shower. And some ice cubes down the back of the neck, I think. But it's great to be back, and we are Premier League. Thank you very much. Blue Army, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Blue Army! Blue Army! Blue Army!